We now want to talk a little bit about the PNM Internal Elections, which takes place on September 30th. We want to focus on the post of Elections Officer. 3 people are contesting that post. Mr. Darian Marcel, who is to my right. To my left, we have Mr. Linus Rogers and Mr. Indar Parasram, who is also contesting the post on the slate of Team Red and Rowley. That is the political leaders' slate. However, he was unable to make it today for reasons, religious reasons, that is. So I want to welcome both gentlemen here, and we are going to not have an argument, but a discussion as to why they should be the elections officer for the People's National Movement. Mr. Marcel, since you are to my right, I want to start with you.
No,
why should people vote for you?
Well, because you start off by saying I'm the best person for this assignment. And I'm the best person for the assignment because, you know, the text of our workbook in terms of officers and the Constitution clearly defines the role of the elections officer as being the person to interact with the EBC, make sure that the statistics and all the information is there, and organize strategy with the team and so on. All of those things are relevant and important, and I understand that. But the difference I make is that I think that I want to be on the ground. Mm-hmm. I want to be in the constituencies on the ground, finding out for myself. Because, I mean, like everything else, you know, there'll always be things that we need to fix and repair and make sure is in order. That's the strength of any political party when an election is called. What is happening on the ground with your infrastructure? And you can't wait to do that when election is called. Mm-hmm. Work has to start now. And therefore, I think that because of I've been in the party for 40 years, and my relationship with the infrastructure of the PNM is extremely good. Yeah. And I just want to make sure that we don't make the same mistake we made in 2010.
And I see your opponent is listening very, very attentively.
Well, I am of the view that while I understand what Darian is saying, I'm of the view that we need to pay attention to what the job entails. The party has a number of officers with specific responsibilities. And there is an officer with responsibility for being on the ground. But in the role of the elections officer, there is a need for us to have someone who can basically pull all the information all through the length and breadth of the country, and also to be able to analyze that information such that if you do a poll, the poll is augmenting the work that you are getting from all the people on the ground, so that you have proper data to make data-driven decisions on election matters, because it's critical for our party and the country that we make decisions upon facts rather than opinions. And also that there is an officer with responsibility for actually mobilizing the troops on the ground. And the elections officer, and there are elections officers in every constituency, in every party group. And so we have a responsibility to work with them to get information also, augmenting that which comes from the field officer.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying quite well. Except that let's be practical in 2018. And the PNM people who listen now, they know what the facts are. We know that all the infrastructure is not in place. We know that we have constituencies not functioning at the level that we should. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sit down in our office behind a laptop and get somebody feed them a data. We suffered that in 2010. Mr. Manning called meetings in 2008, 2009, asking for feedback from the same elections officers in the party group and the constituencies, and he was misled. People were telling him that in Couva South, in Couva North, in Carney East, we have 30 party groups, we have 25. How is that possible? And you have 15 in Lavantil. That doesn't make any sense. The PNM people who listen know what the facts are. So here what? I want to go on the ground and get the data myself, but we'll be part of a team. So we have a team of election officers, the election officer committee, who will be pulling the data. We have the field officer and others who we will go out on the field with. I want to be on there. I cannot just let the book, the academic notification in the book, define my role as election officer in 2018. Because guess what we see? If we do the same things that we've been doing all the time, we don't expect different results. And I want to make sure that we get the right results.
But let us be careful and understand something. Persons saying to first of all, a political leader or a prime minister calling an election, the Constitution allows him or her to call that without reference to anybody and anything. Mm-hmm. From a party perspective, we have a responsibility to feed our political leader with information that allows the leadership to make decisions. what Darian is referring to in 2010, when constituencies went and said to the leader, we have a certain amount of organization existing. That is false. However, you will have had information there that will have said what the reality on the ground is, right? Now, we need to recognize that in making the decisions, there are a number of things that go into making decisions. And part of that is ensuring that we have an infrastructure on the ground. And I will admit that a number of party groups, a number of constituencies might not be functioning how we'd like them to. However, when you have all that information, it cannot be that it is my opinion or your opinion that carries. It has to be that available to the leadership is that information, statistics, as well as what different political parties are saying, what the people on the ground are saying, so that you have a totality of what the country is in making a decision. And that is the crucial difference. And in 2018 and going on, where you have a lot of misinformation out there, we need to make sure we have the right information for decision making.
So both gentlemen, you are really fighting for this position, Mr. Darian Marcel, Linus Rogers. But there is also another competitor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we also have to look out for him, because both of you are running as independents, and he is running under the slate of the political leader.
Yeah, no, quite understandably. I mean, that's the democracy of the party. Indar Prasram is currently the field officer of the party.
Yes.
And he has decided that he would prefer to change roles and want to be election officer. That's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that. The democracy of the PNM says that we all feel free to run for the post. Linus Rogers was a former elections officer of the PNM, you know, former, and a man I have great regard for, except that we lost in 2010 because the data and the information then provided to inform the leader was wrong. Yeah? So I'm saying we can't have that same mistake again.
Yeah.
And therefore, all the data that has to be gathered, I want to be part of the team on the ground. And you know what, Rishi? There are two roles, two functions that will take place there. One, getting the facts on the ground in terms of what are the problems and what are the solutions to fix it on the ground. But more importantly, the infrastructure on the ground, that is our people, our greatest asset, and will have me on the executive.
Because we're almost out of time, Mr. Linus, I just want to get your final comments as it relates to this.
Okay, first of all, in terms of Indar not being here, Indar was the field officer, and the fact that we are saying that a number of the party groups and constituencies says there's a problem there. I need to also respond to something that Darian has said, which is that information from the ground is just one of the decisions why you'll either win or lose an election. I am of the view that I have the vision, I have the experience, I have the planning competence, and I have the drive in order to deliver. And what we need is proven delivery, people who could deliver for the party such that as we prepare our internal matters, we are able to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago better.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen, and best of luck to both of you. And hopefully at the end of this, you know, you maintain a friendship. And that is always important.
No, Rishi, I'll tell you something. After the 24th of September, we are all PNM.
Yeah,
all hands on deck. And Linus Rogers will be part of my team on the elections committee.
And I will
as
be
I
chairing,
chair.
and I will be chairing that team.
I have to leave you on.
Rishi, it's a pleasure.
PNM
Thanks,
Internal
Alan.
Elections that takes place on September 30th.